Welcome, everyone, to our first episode of 2024 here at 3 Wide. I'm your host, Radney Crawford. Today, we're going to be going over NASCAR's bold decision this past weekend at the Clash, as well as what the future of this event should be. So, NASCAR this past weekend made the unprecedented decision to move the race from Sunday to Saturday night. They made this decision early Saturday afternoon to try and get this race in due to the incoming weather. And normally, NASCAR likes to have a 24-hour period where they like to give fans and all a heads up if they're even going to move this race up 1 hour. Here, they made the surprising move to move it up one complete day, just a few hours before the event starts. But while it was a surprising move, I do believe it was the right one. A major storm was coming into the Los Angeles area, and it would be likely Wednesday before they would even be able to get this race in. And at that point, NASCAR had to ask themselves how many fans would be able to stay and attend this race if it is Wednesday or maybe a late Tuesday start. And also, what would the teams be facing that are having to go from California back to North Carolina and then getting ready to go to Daytona? NASCAR decided to make the best decision they could. It wasn't an easy one. I don't envy who had to make that decision, but they decided to get that race in. They opened up the gates for free to anyone that can come and get this race in so they can get everybody out of the area before the storm really hit. I know it's not a popular decision, especially for those that were traveling out to see the race. Those that were on their way out there probably just had to turn around and go back. Maybe some were already out there and were able to still attend it. But NASCAR had a no-win situation on their hands, and they decided to go with the decision to get the show in. And I believe that was the right move on their part. Hunt to Harvest is back to support another season of 3 Wide, and to tell you a little about them, they are a brand created to protect the hunt and to get back to the basics and the real reason for the hunt. A brand that supports the harvesting of the animal instead of just focusing on the trophy. To Hunt to Harvest, hunting is all about spending time with loved ones, providing for your family through the harvest, and giving thanks to the one who created all things. And you too can support this great mission and company by going to hunttoharvest.com and updating or upgrading your hunting apparel, where they have several new shirt designs in both short sleeve and long sleeves. And these shirts are also made out of 100% Peruvian cotton and true to size after one wash. They also have new rope hats in, but they are moving fast, so you better get your order in quick. So head on over to hunttoharvest.com, and when you check out, be sure to use the promo code RADNEY18923. That's RADNEY 18923. For even more savings. And looking at the race briefly, Denny Hamlin came away with the win, but it was his teammate Ty Gibbs who really dominated the day. Denny got the lead on a late restart with 10 to go. But the biggest takeaway from this race for me was the confrontation that happened after the race in the haulers between Joey Logano and Ty Gibbs. Now, I didn't see what happened in the race that would lead to this confrontation or would cause Joey Logano to go over and confront Ty Gibbs after the race, but this has been brewing between these two since the second half of last season. These guys are on a fast track of butting heads, and this could be the rivalry to watch in 2024. And if Ty Gibbs is looking to gain some new fans or get some more cheers in the stands, a rivalry with Joey Logano is not a bad place to start. Logano has never been much of a fan favorite, and I don't know if Logano's looking to assume more of a leadership role in the garage with Kevin Harvick now gone, but I think he's going to meet some resistance when it comes to that. I think Logano can be an excellent veteran voice when it comes to the state of the sport or voicing your concerns to NASCAR. I think he can be a leader there. But when it comes to racing etiquette on the track, I just don't think he has much of a leg to stand on. We haven't seen the growth with him like we have seen in the past with driver like Kurt Busch or his brother Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. Not to say that it can't happen, but he's just not there yet. He's still got some growth to do, I think, when it comes to that side of the sport. Now, when it comes to the future of the Clash, it is very hotly debated. This could have been the last event we saw at the LA Coliseum with the Clash. So now the question is, what does NASCAR do with this race from here on out? A lot of fans and media members have voiced their opinions and their ideas on social media. Some of them are very good. As far as this show, in my opinion, I believe there's only really two options. Option number one is pretty simple. Go back to Daytona on the oval. I know a lot like to point out the disaster that was the Clash in the last time they ran the Daytona Oval, but just hear me out. Take this race back to its basics. Simply have the field of pole winners from the previous season. Make it a 25 to 50 lap shootout. No inverts, no mandatory two-tire pit stops. Just a winner-takes-all exhibition race. Also, when it comes to scheduling, put this race back where it was as either taking place before the ARCA race, or you can put it before the Truck Series opener on Friday night. Will it work? Is it a guarantee to work? No, but you have given this race back its identity, which is something it has lacked for quite some time. Used to, when a driver won the pole, it was treated as a bigger deal than it is now. On the pre-race shows, they would be sure to highlight who the pole winner was and who the pole winners had been at that point in the season, making sure to mention that they were eligible for next year's Clash, much like they do now with the All-Star race and if we have a new race winner. In order to reestablish this event, you need to go back to giving it its original identity. Option number 2 is even more simple, which is completely do away with the event. NASCAR could easily say that with the schedule they have for speed weeks, it's enough at the moment, and give these guys, the drivers, the team members, the crew members, another week at home with their families. I do give NASCAR credit for going outside the box, taking this race out to LA Coliseum, trying to breathe new life into the event, while also trying to gain some new fans. The big question is, did it work? Did NASCAR bring in enough new fans to justify the expense of running this race every year? I don't believe they did. But what I can tell you I do believe is the best way to bring in these new fans and a new audience is doing exactly what they just did on Netflix by releasing that 10-episode documentary highlighting the season, following these drivers around. That is an excellent way to build up a new audience. And now that you have this deal with Amazon Prime to stream races with them next season, you can move it over to that, or you can keep doing it with Netflix. Open up a whole new world by going behind the scenes, because that's what people really want to see. Also, doing a better job of promoting the races, whether that falls on the tracks or the sport itself, whichever one. These races, I think, can be promoted better, and also using the drivers to go out and promote it better. Get them out in front of people, get them out of the autograph signings. Those are two things that will satisfy the NASCAR purist while also catching the attention and the eye of a prospective fan. And that'll wrap up today's video. As always, thank y'all for joining me and watching along. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, in the description below, you can find links to my social media pages. Be sure to click on those and give me a follow for more content. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their week, and we will see y'all same time next week to go over the upcoming 2024 NASCAR season.